Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Some quick back-of-the-envelope math. Amy, you were noting the Chicago public school system, underfunded, always perpetually underfunded, just unveiled a $9.3 billion budget.
Billion, not million, $9.3 billion budget.
What do we say, about 325,000 kids? Is that
335, I bet, after everybody left for private schools.
So some back-of-the-envelope math, that's just under, it's about $28,000 per student.
For what? What are we getting?
Underfunded. Interesting. Infrastructure underfunded, too, which is why, and so are poverty programs, which is why Senate Democrat Socialists agreed to a $3.5 trillion health care and anti-poverty plan. That's the way it's being described. Now, again, this is restrained because it's well short of the $6 trillion deal that socialists like Bernie Sanders wanted. He endorsed the deal. Yeah, I'd like $6 trillion, but I'll take $3.5 trillion, which is, wonderful sausage making. Important compromises, sensible, so that we can move the country forward into fiscal oblivion. For more on the topic, we're pleased to be joined by Steve Moore, economist, Wall Street Journal columnist, Trumponomics author. Steve, good news on that anti-poverty plan, huh?
Good morning, guys. Well, the big two stories are related on the economy from yesterday. So first, we get the story about the massive number on inflation, 5.4%. So prices are rising in the economy. It is unquestionable now. And 5.4, by the way, if you look at from the start of the year, we're on a pace of inflation of over 8%. So these are very, very frighteningly bad numbers. And then you add to that that Bernie Sanders, a few hours later, says, hey, we're going to spend $3.5 trillion more. Of course, it's not going to be paid for. It's going to be just dumping $100 bills out of helicopter windows. This is going to make inflation much, much worse. The dumbest thing we could do right now is spend and borrow $3.5 trillion, and it looks like that's exactly what the Democrats want to do.
And what about gas prices? I mean, what is that going to top off at? $5 a gallon? The rate we're going?
It's a good question. If you look at the forecasts right now, Harold Hamm, who's the guy who kind of invented the whole shale oil and gas revolution, he was telling me that he thinks that the oil price is going to go up to as high as $100 a barrel, and that is the equivalent of about $4 a gallon. By the way, if you live in California, you're already paying, $5 a gallon gasoline in California.
Oh my gosh!
Very much.
Mm-hmm.
$5.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey,
$5.29.
everybody's got to pony up a little bit to save the planet, and that's that. And it's just like we have to pony up a little bit to pull everybody out of poverty. It was an interesting stat. I was talking about this yesterday with one of our local guys, Steve. This Boston Fed paper that finds when you include unrealized benefits like Social Security, 401k, when you net present value them, 1 in 4 Americans in their 40s is a millionaire. 1 in 4 Americans. So, this is still an economy in a country where people work hard and they do well and they climb the socioeconomic ladder. That still happens. And I feel like as free market types, we don't talk enough about the success stories in America and the success story that is America.
Well put. Very well put. So, in August 12th is the 40-year anniversary of, what happened 40 years ago on August 12th?
I don't, but Dan's
August
thinking
12,
about
1981. It was the Regan tax cut.
Oh, Reagan tax cut,
Reagan
sure.
tax cut
Yeah.
was changed. Now, here's the amazing thing. Here's your kind of financial question for the day. Do you know what the Dow Jones Industrial Average was in the summer of 1981?
I was just a toddler
Take a while,
then.
guys.
I wasn't invested in the
Oh,
market at
you
the
were
time.
so.
Yeah, I wasn't.
I know, but
Yeah.
Amy's much older than you
Well,
are.
Hey,
exactly.
hey,
Yeah.
hey.
Right. Exactly.
Easy there, Stephen
She
Moore.
would probably know the answer. Yeah.
I'm teasing, of course.
I don't remember.
But okay, 1,000. The Dow Jones was 1,000 in 1981. Today, the Dow Jones is at 35,000. So we have lived through the greatest period of wealth creation in the history of civilization. Our stock market and all the value of our financial assets are closing in on $100 trillion. We are 5 times more wealth than China does. Japan and Europe have been basically flatlined during that period. So America is the alpha male. We're just crushing everybody. And even when we do stupid things, the economy still does pretty well. I am worried about Biden's agenda. I think it is frighteningly stupid. The lesson we should have learned from Reagan and Trump, frankly, is, you cut tax rates, you bring capital, you bring investment to the U.S. of A. Now we got a Treasury Secretary, Jen Mamie. I never thought I'd see the day. We've got a Treasury Secretary, United States Treasury Secretary, running around the world, urging all the other countries in the world to raise their taxes.
Yeah.
It's maddening. It's
bizarro.
maddening.
We're
We're going to have a global minimum tax, folks. Everybody's going to pay high taxes. There's not, they talk about monopolies. How about this monopoly of government, Dan? We've got all these governments colluding to raise taxes on everybody, so it doesn't matter where maybe you can try to go to Bermuda or Ireland. Ireland has the lowest tax rate, 12.5%, but they're strong arming Ireland to raise their taxes. It's these politicians are monopolists, and they're trying to. By the way, tax competition is a good thing, Janet Yellen. It's not a race to the bottom; it's a race to the top.
And
you got more freedom and less government.
I guess we all got to move to Ireland, and then the connection to that with the other collusive behavior, raise taxes, and also spending, and just call everything infrastructure, which we see obviously the Biden administration doing, and just to address what we know to be true. The economics we know to be true about infrastructure spending being pro-growth. Everything they say, everything has a positive return. Every dollar government spends has a positive return to hear the politicians talk about it. But, while there may need to be upgrades made to some roads and bridges, it is not a growth policy. It does nothing for GDP.
Nothing. Because every time the government spends $1, it has to take $1 from you and me to spend it. This stuff isn't complicated. Now, if you actually think the government gets a higher rate of return than, say, a private business, it's just proven untrue. By the way, on that $1.2 trillion spending bill they passed, the infrastructure bill, only about 1/5 of that money is even roads and bridges. Most of it's for green energy stuff. And here's my favorite one. They want to have the federal government spend tens of billions of dollars building electric charging stations around the country for people who got their Tesla.
Yeah.
Now, do you recall the United States government building gasoline stations around the country?
Right.
No. There's this big push in Illinois with a campaign. No, they're having billboards showing people, who do drive electric cars where to pull off the road to get to plug in, so to speak.
Where do they think they're going to get people are so stupid. Where do you think they get the electricity from to charge your battery? You know what? Have you seen what's happened to the coal price? It's doubled. The demand for coal is surging around the world. The good news is America has more coal than any other country. The bad news is Biden won't let us mine for our coal, so they're using dirtier coal in China. And China's building 15 coal plants right now, as we speak. China's building 15 new coal plants. Do you think that they care about global warming?
Not particularly. About as much as I care about human rights. Yeah. I got a question for you. You talk to all of these politicians, so we don't have to. So on both the tax side and the spending side, what do you think the Biden administration gets? Do they get some approximation of what they want on tax increases, corporate rate to 21%, and this infrastructure deal, or what do you think is going to happen?
It's hard. That's a hard question. Look, they're not going to get a 43% capital gains tax. They're not going to get a 28% corporate rate, but I think they will get a small tax increase through. It'll be negative, and it'll reduce American competitiveness. The rest of the world will laugh behind our backs. And by the way, the global tax, that'll last about 6 months, and then all the other countries are going to start cheating. And of course, they're going to start lowering their taxes, and we're going to be the people out there. So I think they might get a smaller. The reason I think the market's held up so well over the last 6 months is I think investors have figured out, no, Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden are not going to get this through. But you know what? You're going to have Joe Manchin on your show, and you're going to ask him because he's the second most important, guy in Washington right now. Because if he agrees to kill the filibuster and all these other things, we're sunk. So, the fate of the nation depends on Joe Manchin. Can you get him on your show and ask him that question?
We'll try.
We'll effort that. I got some friends in West Virginia. We'll see if we can squeeze him to come on the show.
I mean, I'm not joking, folks. He's the second.
No, he's the one.
If he caves on this stuff, we are going to get him. He says one thing one day. He's loving life, by the way. I mean, everywhere he goes, all the cameras follow him all around. But I hate this because Joe Manchin's a politician, and the whole economy depends on whether he's going to agree to this Biden $3.5 trillion spending thing. Right now, it does look like Bernie Sanders is calling the shots right now, and that's pretty frightening.
I know this is not as exciting as taxing and spending, but the regulatory agencies play a big role in whether we grow or not too, and Biden's new recent EO, telling the FTC and FCC, to Federal Trade Commission, Federal Communication Commission, and all other agencies to stop acquisitions, no non-competes, minimize licenses, all of this anti-competitiveness that's been presented as making capitalism more competitive.
So I was telling Larry Kudlow on his show last night that, I've come up with the new Biden definition of a monopoly. You know what a monopoly is? It's a company that dares make a profit.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm not exaggerating, folks. These people are freaking crazy. They see a monopoly on every street corner. They want to regulate and restrict, every activity of every single business in America. And it's the exact opposite of what we did. Let's go back to the start of this conversation. When the Dow was at 1,000, what did we do? We massively cut taxes, and we massively cut regulation, and the economy boomed. Biden comes in, he wants to do the exact opposite. So I did read that executive order. It's about 14 pages long. It's written by these dingbat left-wing economic professors who have now populated the White House who know nothing about business. That's the other thing. None of these law professors have ever run anything in their whole life. Let's see them create a monopoly. It ain't so easy. So let's see them make a profit in anything that they do. But these guys are second-rate, left-wing, they're philosophy, sociology professors, and they're telling businesses how to run their business. It's crazy.
How about United States Senators? Brian Schatz, who's a senator from Hawaii, and I thought Mazie Hirono was the dumb one. He tweeted out, "I'm not a slogan guy, but I see no reason we shouldn't call the cash assistance to families Biden bucks."
Well, what did we have? Remember, was Obama? We had the Obama
phones.
Or what
yeah,
was it?
Obama phones, Biden bucks.
Biden bucks. That's it.
You talk about monopolies. That's monopoly money, is what it is. Steve Moore.
Oh, and by the way, if I know we're running out of time, but now there's a bill in Congress to have another round of payments.
Of course.
Come on, another round.
Free money.
Yeah, of course. Let's let people play video games for a few more months. Steve Moore, economist, Wall Street Journal columnist, Trumponomics author. Thanks, Steve.
See you guys.
Hopefully it'll end in September. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, everybody. Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage and Rocket Companies. Last year, we saw historically low mortgage interest rates. In fact, over 1 million homeowners took advantage of refinancing or buying a new home with Rocket Mortgage. What you may not know is that interest rates are already starting to increase again, and it's likely that trend is only going to continue. Our team of experts is standing by to help you save before rates go up. With an official mortgage review from Rocket Mortgage, you'll see just how much money you could save by making a move right now. Don't look back over these next few weeks and wish that you had taken action.